Hello, my friends, and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Somehow in Tehran today, Friday, the 20th of June 2025, there are mass anti-Israel protests in Tehran, in the capital of Iran. Who advised whom in order to organize this protest? Was it spontaneous protest? Like usually they're not, because there are thousands of people, or someone organized it. Now, that advisor who advised whomever, if it was organized by the Iranian government, should look back in December 1989, Romania, Bucharest. Ceausescu organized a protest or a demonstration in support for himself. And what happened? Things were activated and he got toppled. His advisors, who worked not for the Romanians, worked for outside agencies, told Ceausescu it's a good idea to organize. That means to bring people together so they can run over your institutions. So that's the first one that we're going to discuss. Is it a good thing to have now demonstrations? Well, if this was organized by the government, it's kind of idiotic. If it wasn't organized by the government, by the Iranian government, that tells me that the Iranian society is kind of freer than we are told they are. Remember that imbecile Whoopi Goldberg, that ugly motherfucker and stupid in the same time? I mean, they go together hand in hand. She said that the blacks in America have it right now as bad as the people in Iran have it over there. A millionaire is talking, a former president, and anyway. So the same here. We're told those guys in Iran are, under a strict law. I don't think that's the case. I watch a lot of videos. Yes, probably they have some limitations in their freedoms or liberties, as we do in America. I can't walk naked in the street. God damn it. Keep your kids inside. All right, that's one example. Or, if I'm on my property and I walk naked over there and some imbecile sees me from his property, I get charged and convicted for indecent exposure in America on my property. Now, if I'm in a home and I'm do something that I'm not supposed to do right now because of my surgery, if you know what I mean, I changed my sex. and the shutters are not shut, or the curtains are not like that, and a baboon looks and sees me in the activity, then I get charged and convicted for indecent exposure in my house. If someone wants to look, let's see what that guy is doing over there. He's at it again. Okay? So there are some limitations. I disagree with those limitations, just so you know. Anyway, so what do we have here? It's organized by the government, by Iranian government, bad. I think, if it's spontaneous, that means these guys have some freedoms over there that we're not talked about or told about. And then we have the winger, the guy who's waiting in the West, Mr. Reza Pahlavi. All right, he is the son of the Reza Pahlavi, the one, you remember, when he did it in Persepolis, invited all those things, and the Persian Empire. So, okay, that guy. So, who was overthrown in 1979 by the Iranian Islamic Revolution. We're going to talk about that one. So, Mr. Reza Pahlavi, he is ready to come back and wants democracy restored in Iran. Oh, who toppled democracy? Wasn't it in 1953 with Mr. Mossadegh? The Brits and the Americans toppled the democratically elected prime minister. Wasn't that the whole thing? And then they brought the king, Paklavi. All right, so this guy in the West, I'm not for him, I'm not against it. I kind of don't like kings, just so you know. By default, I don't. It seems to me like a guy, hereditary, fat, ugly, gonna be presiding over all of us and give us orders and decrees. I don't like that. I don't like our form of democracy either. We should do something else. All right, but nevertheless, so this Pahlavi, says that he needs democracy, change the regime in Iran. And the people of Iran will do that. Well, according to these demonstrations, ain't looking like that. So we're going to discuss that, including the connection between Mr. Pahlavi, who wants to come to Iran, and Mr. Netanyahu, who bombs Iran. All right, let's discuss that. I have a few articles ready for you. First, I'm not for or against that. That's their business, the Iranians' business. The people outside Iran, Iranians, or people inside Iran. That's their only business. It's not Paklavi to talk to the Americans. The Americans, yes, we're going to push you. Talk to Mr. Netanyahu. No, that's not how it works, because that tells me that when or if Mr. Pahlavi comes over, Red Rover, what's up, meow meow, as the king or the king of kings, all right, let's put it right, when he's going to become the king of kings, he's going to be the tool of these guys. I don't want that. Do you want that? Some people might want that. But hey, that's not my business. They can do whatever they want. But I can't keep my mouth shut, though. Should I? No. All right, let's go with the first article. Good job, meow meow. What did you do here? All right, let's start with the first one. Jesus Christ, I think this guy did something. This is June 17th. We don't want that here. Clip. Iranian Crown Prince calls for nationwide uprising. Presents himself as transitional leader. He's not going to be a transitional leader. He's a crown prince. He is just transition and then relinquish, give the crown to someone else, right? So Crown Prince Reza Pahlavi is calling for a nationwide uprising to reclaim Iran and overthrow the Islamic Republic regime. The son of the last Iranian Shah made a video added to the public on Tuesday in which he asserted that Supreme Leader Khamenei government has reached its end, he decides that, and is in the process of collapsing. He thinks that. But how come that when you have this mass anti-Israel protest in Iran's Tehran as attacks continue? This is today, 20th of June. Now, could be organized by the government, which I think is risky. Next one. Newsweek. If you don't like Washington Examiner, we're going to go to Newsweek. Iran's exiled crown prince predicts regime collapse, reclaiming of nation. First, I don't want to be claimed by any other human being. Fuck off, to start with. So I don't want you to reclaim your nation. I'm not your subject. I'm not your slave. I'm not your baboon. All right? If you want to be, go. Go to his plantation and stay there, wherever that might be, United Kingdom or United States of America. I'm talking about Paklavi and his little thing over there. No, you don't reclaim shit. All right? Just so you know. I disagree with the principle. Now, in their situation, you have to make a distinction in what I'm saying right now. As a principle is one thing, and Iran, they can do whatever they want, but it's on the Iranians. Not Israelis, not Americans, not baboons, nothing like that. We can talk, but it's their decision, should be their decision and their struggle. As a principle, I'm not anybody's subject. But the Brits are, the Canadians are, to their king nowadays. The king and his hereditary bunch of, I was about to say inbreds, but anyway, let's move on. So here you have him. Reza Pahlavi, the exiled Papa, reclaim. Okay, he called on the Iranians to reclaim and rebuild the country. Okay, so the Iranians to reclaim. How are they reclaiming? You see this? Anyway, this is from The Hill. So I'm trying to get credibility because, Washington Examiner and the other one, Newsweek. Now we have The Hill, very, very truthful. Exiled Crown Prince, Islamic Republic collapsing in Iran. And he shows himself as an alternative. Right, this is what he says. And these are the words of a king, okay, or a Shah. The Islamic Republic has reached its end, I'm quoting Mr. Pahlavi, and is in the process of collapsing. Pahlavi wrote on the social platform X, and I'm quoting, Khamenei, like a frightened rat, has gone into hiding underground and has lost control of the situation. Well, it's not very king-like. I'm a baboon. I can curse, I can do this, and so on. For certain kind of, how do you call it, for a certain angle. No. But he, I think, should be different a little bit if he wants to lead. And then we get to the main point here, almost main point. Live mass anti-Israel protests in Iran's Tehran as attacks continue. They have a video here which actually is not showing anything. It's just, let me show you. Refresh it. That's all they show you. But when you go to the nitty-gritty, I don't even know if this is the real video, because I watched the whole video, the live thing, and I couldn't see. So I don't know if this is real or it's from a past protest. I can't read what's going on over there. And nevertheless, this is it. It's not a video. If I push on it, if I press on this, it's going to be a baboon talking and a baboon showing me attacks. Next, let me show you. This is what I did. It's only Al Jazeera that reports. Nothing else. Nothing else. Nobody else reports that. This is from the 13th. This is 6 days ago, and they're saying it's right now. And we have this very revealing thing. Sputnik by the Russians. Remember, Russians support Iranian government. Reza Pahlavi, Netanyahu lapdog dreaming of returning to Iran as new Shah. Para! Hey, blondie. Ugly motherfucker too. Anyway, here is the king, the Shah, all right? Self-proclaimed, this is how the Russians reported. Self-proclaimed Crown Prince of Iran, Reza Pahlavi, has called for a nationwide uprising, but in a political zero with absolutely no shot at winning over ordinary Iranians, says prominent Tehran-based political analyst and commentator Mohammad Khatibi. All right, and I'm quoting, while he appears to enjoy some support from Israel, it remains unclear how serious Tel Aviv regards him as a credible alternative. Reza lacks widespread popularity both within Iran and among segments of the diaspora opposition. This guy wrote, his reluctance to condemn Israeli aggression against Iran has aliened portions of his support base. I was like, not making sense. Many Iranians perceive him as being subordinate to Netanyahu, and his public comments before the recent conflict drew further criticism. He is often seen as weak. The Observer explained. Now, this is an opinion, right? Paklavi, 64 years old, has lived outside Iran since 1978. Of the fortune his family managed to siphon out of Iran. You see the words, right? The vocabulary here. Before 1979 overthrow of his father's CIA and MI6 coup installed Mohammad Reza Pahlavi. Remember? And talk about democracy. They did it in 53 after they overthrew Mossadegh. He reportedly currently lives in a gated community outside Washington D.C. Shuming with U.S. officials, chumming, I think. Chummy. He becomes chummy. Officials and think tanks. In 2023, he traveled to Israel, where he was warmly received by Benjamin Netanyahu and Intelligence Minister Gila Gamliel. In 2017, he told U.S. media that in his quest to liberate Iran, he would be ready to work with anyone who is willing to give us a hand. What kind of a helping hand? Whether it is the U.S. or the Saudis or the Israelis or whomever it is. Now, I don't think that Mr. Pahlavi is an imbecile, right? I don't think he is. He must realize that whomever, let's say, helps him reclaim and regain the throne as a king of the kings, he's going to be their boy. Now, that's not Iran. That means you work for an outside interest. That means you're a traitor by definition. So, those guys, do you think in the real world are going to help Mr. Paklavi to become the Shah? And then they will say, man, you look good. We're leaving and Iranians now are all free. We're going home and good luck to you. Mission accomplished and just go. Do you think that's what's going to happen? No, he's going to be their bitch, their female dog, right there. So they're going to come over and over for a night of loving. And the night of loving is going to be every night. And that's not going to be in the Iranian people. So from the get-go, when you are having outside interest, overthrowing whatever garbage you have in whatever country, those guys will own you by definition. So you can say, oh, Mr. Pahlavi is going to be over there. He's better than these guys. Okay, maybe he's better for some and worse for others. But he will definitely definitely be the batch of the guys who help him be in power. Now, just so you know, he wants to restore democracy. What kind of democracy was under his father? I mean, democracy was overthrown in 1953 by the same guys who's trying to get help from overthrow these guys. No, Iran is as it is. 79, Iranian Revolution. Do you know how Mr. Khomeini came? So Khomeini came in 1979. The revolution occurred Islamic Revolution occurred in Iran, and he came to Tehran. You know how he landed? On a plane. And from where? If I remember correctly, he came from Paris. It's the city of light, LA woman. Yeah, exactly, from there. From Jim Morrison's Père Lachaise cemetery. That's exactly where he came. So he came from there with an airplane parachuted by someone in the capital. So whose boy was Mr. Khomeini then? So you see, he was over there. Like for instance, if you remember Mr. Ulyanov, you know who Mr. Ulyanov? You know more Mr. I was informed a few days ago what Ulyanov is. All right. So Mr. Ulyanov is the so-called Lenin. Okay? Lenin, his name is Ulyanov. That's his last name. And it's a, you know what I mean? That's a British name. Okay, so that's what it is. That's why I'm going to call him. When I'm going to talk about them, I'm going to call them they, you know, perpetual victims, and so on. Anyway, here it is. So when he was transported, you know where he came from? During the First World War, the Germans picked him up, put a train for this guy. He got his wife, I'm talking about Lenin, and his mistress in the same train. In the same fucking train, different carriage. No judging here, but information is information. Yeah. I have like 17 wives. What do you want? I'm just kidding. Just kidding. Anyway, so they parachuted him with a train from Switzerland, where he was living over there, okay, straight in St. Petersburg, through the whole, how do you call it, war lines. The war was going, look over the map. So he was parachuted by some. Who were those some, you think? Do you know where Mr. Trotsky, his real name is Bronstein, he's Jewish. You know where he was when Mr. Lenin was parachuted? He was in New York. And you know what he was doing over there? Talking to bankers to finance the Bolshevik Revolution. Not the Russian, the Bolshevik Revolution. So these guys, when they're parachuted and so easily come over there, just bang, their interest who parachute them over there, and then they control the country, the people, the nation, the democracies through the baboons. Got it? So Mr. Pahlavi, you can root for him. I don't give a shit. The problem is he's going to be someone else's, not the Iranian people's, boy. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just. Oh, let me tell you about Ceausescu. Ceausescu, just a footnote right there. The Ceausescu in revolution was orchestrated by outside agencies, like in Ukraine, the 2014, on the hatred of the population against the Ceausescu family and the communism and the system, and they were activated. And these guys organized, and the Ceausescu gave some orders. The orders were executed, not executed, and eventually he organized this mass protest, support. Demonstration of support. Right, he was in front, you know, that nobody listened. Why? Because people inside those crowds were already working for outside agencies, foreign agencies, and those guys were activated, and there was mass control, crowd control, and they overthrew this guy because the guy, Ceausescu, was already surrounded by people working for MI6, for instance, and there is Mr. Stănculescu, General Victor Stănculescu. He was an MI6 agent. Put that in the books. I know that for a fact. If I lie, then these intelligence officers are lying as well. It is well known, Mr. General Stănculescu. And General Stănculescu told Ceausescu, go in that helicopter and fly away. They're going to get you. And the helicopters took off with Mr. Ceausescu and Miss Ceausescu. I don't like them. Don't get me wrong. And they flew. And you know what they did? They landed in a field, empty field, by a highway, somewhere in Romania. And they said, get out. They were kicked out from the helicopters. The helicopter left, and these guys were going to the road and, Yamanene, come, I want to go somewhere, get me. And then from there they were transported to police. Police were to the military base, and then they were by the new people. So that's how Romania entered democracy, through an assassination. Those guys were killed like dogs on the orders of, I can give you a detail, they were killed on the 25th of December. Your holy day. Why? I'm not talking about Christmas. I'm talking about the birth of Christ that you guys are, celebrating. I'm celebrating Christmas, but I have Santa Claus in mind when I celebrate that, just so you know. I'm still a child. Anyway, because after all, that is a pagan celebration that these guys stole, made like this, and then they gave it to you. Anyway, you don't believe me? Why do you have a Christmas tree? Check that out. It's unbelievable. Anyway, so that's how it was, my friends. They killed him on our holiday. Who hates our holiday? Who are not the Muslims? The Muslims see Jesus as a prorock, as a prophet, as a teacher. But how does Talmud and the Judaic religion, Judaism, see Jesus? Your Jesus, not a prophet. So, it's just a coincidence. And those Romanians, they killed him at the orders. That's it. So watch it. And we're going to see a display of Mussolini again in Piazza di Milano. All right? In Tehran. And these guys, or you're going to see a Gaddafi style of or maybe they want to pull a Gaddafi on Putin. They tried and they couldn't. So anyway, thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.